Good morning, and welcome to a special edition of Firearms Industry News. I'm Caleb Giddings, and let's get right to it. Yesterday, Remington released a document announcing the successful bidders on the sale of their assets. So, as we've reported in the past, Remington has been going through its second bankruptcy in a very short period of time. And as part of that, they had opened up the assets of the business for bids. We had previously reported that the company that owns Palmetto State Armory had placed a bid for the ammunition side of the business. However, in that report, I did take care to mention that it was just a bid and everything was still subject to further steps and to review by a court on the 29th. Now, what has happened that has changed all of that is Remington actually released all of the filings and it released the successful bidders. So we're going to go through this bid by bid and break this down for you guys. And what I'll also do is I'm going to put the full file, the full Remington bid proposal file in the show notes. I've got a link to it on a Google Drive. You should know it's 1,500 pages long, and I haven't even read the whole thing. I have dug into some of the more interesting bits of it, which we're going to cover. But we're going to go through this from top to bottom, starting with the winning bidders for the ammunition business. The winning bidder for the Remington ammunition business is Vista Outdoors. Vista Outdoors is also the owner of Federal, CCI, and Spear, which means that they will now, with this acquisition, be the largest domestic manufacturer of ammunition in the United States with zero question, and they will also be one of the largest in the world as a result of this acquisition. All of the winning bidders also had backup bids. So in case something were to fall through with Vista's bid, there is a backup bidder as well, who in this case is Sig Sauer. Now that's interesting because Sig has been trying to get into the ammo game and they've been doing their own domestic ammunition production, and it's honestly pretty decent ammo. I've shot the V-Crown quite a bit, their jacketed hollow point round, and it's very good. So it makes sense that Sig would see this as an opportunity to dive deeper into the ammo business. But for now, Vista is the winning bidder, and they've won the Remington outdoor business. Now, they've also licensed the Remington brand name from the company that bought the brand name, which we'll get into that in a minute, because there's some complicated things that are happening here with these bids, with the acquisition of intellectual property versus hard properties. Hard properties are things like machines, manufacturing, actual facilities, and stuff like that. But what Vista's acquired is the manufacturing, the production facilities for Remington ammunition, as well as a license to the brand name for Remington ammunition. And that brings us to the Remington brand name itself. So Round Hill Group LLC is the successful bidder for certain non-firearms businesses, certain other firearms businesses within the former Remington portfolio. And I'll explain what that means by other firearms businesses, because as we go through this, a lot of the firearms brand names have been parsed out to different companies. So what Round Hill Group LLC bought is they bought the Remington firearms business. So that's your 870s, your bolt guns. They also acquired the Para Ordnance or Para brand name as well. And they also retained the licenses for a lot of these brand names. So they retained the ownership of the brand name for some of these brands, but not the actual production facilities. They retained trademarks, but not the actual production facilities. For example, production facilities for a perfect example of this is they retained the brand name and the trademark for AAC, Advanced Armament Corp., but the production facilities and the ability to manufacture stuff under that name has been sold to JJE Capital Holdings, which owns Palmetto State Armory, and we'll get more into that later. But basically what that means is your Remington brands, your 870s, and all of the physical production facilities for the 870 for those guns have been bought by Round Hill Group LLC. Who is Round Hill Group LLC? Well, that's a good question. And what I can tell you is it's not anybody that you would have really heard of. So, Roundhill Group LLC is a property investment firm which is located in Virginia. And that's pretty much all I got for you. I don't know who their board of directors are. They have no previous association with the firearms industry whatsoever. They are an investment company that has before this primarily invested only in property. This could be good or bad for Remington. Obviously, Remington has been bought by investment firms before, and look where we are now, guys. But in all seriousness, it could be good if this Roundhill gang actually puts people in charge at Remington who are interested in doing business, who are interested in building good products, who are interested in running the factories in a way that's profitable. What happens to the Remington brand name when it comes to firearms is entirely dependent on who Roundhill Group puts in charge there. And I personally, I would like to tell you I have a prognosis on how it's going to go, good or bad. In my opinion, I'm not optimistic about the future of Remington firearms as a brand. I'm very optimistic about the future of Remington ammunition as a brand because Vista makes great ammo. They make a wonderful product, and it'll be great to see that quality control that Vista has routinely implemented over their brands be extended to the Remington brand of ammunition as well. Moving on, and one that probably a lot of people won't care about that much, but I think is great, is Sierra Bullets is the successful bidder on the Barnes ammunition brand. So if you guys remember, Barnes was a ammo company. They're probably most famous for their solid copper projectiles. They also made some of their own ammo, and having Sierra acquire that is great because who doesn't think of high quality bullets when I say the word Sierra Match King? Everybody. So I think Sierra and Barnes is perfect. Match made in heaven. Moving along to the purchase of assets that makes me the most happy of all of this, and probably the one that has generated the most news, is Ruger is the successful bidder to the Marlin firearms business. And that is phenomenal. I am so happy about that. One of the worst things that had happened to Marlin was the precipitous drop in the quality of their products during the ugly Remington years. And Ruger as a company is really, really good at making things that people want at a price that those people can afford. And what Ruger has done is they have acquired the Marlin manufacturing capabilities. They've acquired the Marlin brand name. So all of that stuff belongs to Ruger now. And while I don't think we're going to see necessarily like Ruger Marlin collabs, I don't think you're going to see Marlin lever guns released under the Ruger brand name or Ruger Blackhawk revolvers that are going to be Marlin branded. Marlin branded. Yes! Best unintentional joke ever. Anyway, I don't think you're going to see that. But what I do think you will see is I think that you will see Ruger's quality control and attention to detail applied to the manufacturing processes at Marlin. And that is a good thing. I think of all of the news that is in this report, Ruger acquiring Marlin is the best news for people who want affordable lever action rifles that actually work, because Marlin was the king of that. They used to make really great affordable lever action rifles, and having Ruger take that process over, having them bring their attention to detail, their quality control, and their understanding of the market is wonderful news. I eagerly look forward to a reinvigorated and re-energized Marlin Firearms re-entering the market with, great products and great rifles. I will be the first one to buy a Marlin rifle that I know has rolled off under the watchful eye of Ruger's engineers. And now in a Lulzy acquisition, Franklin Armory Holdings is the successful bidder on the Bushmaster brand name and certain related assets. So expect to see some Bushmaster, expect to see some Bushmasters made by Franklin Armory, and I have no comment on anything else in that part of this release. Another fun one is Sportsman's Warehouse was the successful bidder on the Tapco brand, and I actually like this. Sportsman's Warehouse is a great retailer. I've bought stuff from them on the internet before, and I think having them acquire Tapco and have it in-house is going to be very interesting and probably pretty cool for people who are looking to get, affordable tactical accessories like that. And now we move on to the last interesting bit of this, which is JJE Capital Holdings is the successful bidder with respect to the DPMS, H&R, Storm Lake, AAC, and Parker brands. So JJE Capital Holdings is the company that owns Palmetto State Armory, guys. And having the Palmetto State Armory Company take over manufacturing and branding for all of these interesting brands. Well, it's an interesting acquisition, but it goes back to what I said previously about JJE Capital taking over the ammunition, is that the guys at JJE Capital, say what you want about Palmetto State's quality as a manufacturer, they know how to make money. And they know how to make products. And they know how to make products that people want. In many ways, to me, this is similar to the Ruger acquisition because it is kind of a perfect mesh of a company that does exactly what you want it to do, doing what you want it to do with a brand you want it to do it with, if that makes sense. Because JJE Capital has so much experience with the AR market, with kind of that tactical, affordable market, them getting DPMS, H&R, Storm Lake, AAC, and I don't know what Parker is. I think it's a cheap shotgun. And Parker is actually good news for all of us. So what are the next steps here? We've gone through who's getting what brand names you can expect to see being produced by who, or at the very least being owned by who. Where do we go from here? Well, it's not over yet. The sale hearing to consider approval of these assets to the successful bidders is tomorrow, September 29th at 9 a.m. Now, there is no reason for us to think that these asset sales won't be approved by the bankruptcy court. But as I said when I reported on JJE trying to acquire the ammo business, things can still change, and there still is fluctuation in this. So the hearing to approve the sale is tomorrow morning. That'd be the 29th at 9 a.m. And then we'll know for certain who's getting what. But as it stands right now, the big news out of this is that Ruger is getting Marlin, Vista is getting the Remington ammunition business. A company that no one's ever heard of is getting the Remington brand name and the Remington manufacturing business. And your Palmetto State Armory boys are getting DPMS, H&R, Storm Lake, AAC, and Parker. And you know what? I am happy about all of this. I sincerely hope to see these brands, especially Marlin and especially the Remington ammunition brand, I hope to see them brought back with good quality control, with attention to detail, and making the products that people want at a price they can afford. I hope you guys have enjoyed this breakdown of what's going on with the sale of Remington. If you have more questions, I will put the full 1,500-page document in the show notes. You can read through it at your leisure. That was where I learned that Roundtail Group, which is buying Remington, is retaining some of these licenses and is licensing them to the people who are actually going to be manufacturing the products under their name, like the Remington ammo license. If you like firearms industry news, make sure you like, share, subscribe, review us on iTunes or Spotify, etc., etc., etc. I'm Caleb Giddings. Thanks for listening, and we will be back on Friday with another edition of Firearms Industry News.